recording. We are ready to start our podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe.
And we're
the Ghouls Next Door.
Yeah, welcome to our live show. We are currently in our own living room. You are all figments of our imagination. We've all lost our minds.
Welcome to our living room, which is where we always do our podcast, and it's definitely where we are right now. And by Ghouls Next Door logic and law, you now all reside in our basement. It's just kind of how the contract works.
You've been kidnapped.
So now you're a part of us, and your souls are ours. And it was a deal that you didn't know you made, but you did. So here we are.
Yeah, so welcome to living in our basement / being in our living room. And that's where we're at.
Believe it or not, this is our first live show.
I know. Yeah.
We're super professional and believable. But yeah, it is our first one. So that's an exciting turn of events.
Yeah.
That we'll be in front of people
for sitting here and looking at us talk.
Usually you're just listening to us, so this is our face. But welcome to the Ghouls Next Door. This is our 19th episode. Thank you.
It's a big number.
Cool.
Bigger than all the other numbers that we've had previously.
Okay. So this is our 19th episode. We could not coordinate well enough to make this our 20th episode, which is a little sad, but we can pretend.
Because, even numbers are more exciting.
Yeah, odd numbers are cool. And today we're going to be talking about urban legends. So if you're not familiar with our podcast, Ghouls Next Door, we talk about all things horror. We talk facts, films, and feelings in regards to the horror genre. So whether that's like enlightening you on what phobias are, what the history of a certain term is, why we have this innate fear of a topic, and kind of like dive into some fun things like that. So today we're actually talking about urban legends, which are these tales that you heard growing up when you were at summer camp. Those little tales like Bloody Mary, or any tales that like your mom told you. Oh my God. This is super rude of me. I do feel like I have to take this though, because it does say a stranger is calling me, so I just need one second. Hello? I'm doing a lot. This is weird. It's just like a lot of like heavy breathing. Hold on.
That is strange.
I have to check on the what? Kat? This call? It's coming from inside the podcast. Did anyone check on the tattooed kids? Tattoo mom is going to be so mad.
Yeah, it's going to be a really hard time. God. We're not going to get paid. And we might get murdered. I feel like both of those things are bad.
Seems like probably
One's worse
usually
than the
happens.
other. I don't really know.
Well, it's super rude of me, and I'm sorry about that.
You have to answer the phone when strangers call.
Maybe it's nothing. So a little bit about us. We started back in October with Ghouls Next Door.
Sure did.
We are best friends, roommates, lovers, whatever you want to say. And we love the horror genre. So we hope that you enjoy this ride with us. And today we're talking about...
For the 20th time, urban legends.
Yeah. If you
didn't get it yet, that is what's happening.
For all the two new people who showed up.
So welcome.
Facts. Yeah, facts. We tell you facts. All the facts. Yeah, facts. Still facts. About that spooky stuff. Yeah, spooky stuff.
Urban legends are best described as cautionary or moralistic tales passed along by those who believe or claim the incidents befell either folks they know personally or acquaintances. So usually you have stories that's just like, oh, this is like a moral story. The fun about urban legends is that generally it's like my friend's mom's like sister's girlfriend, this happened to her. So that's like urban legends. And to kind of like... We've gotten a lot of people who are like, I know an urban legend, but then they just told us about a cryptid, which is like a beast or like a creature that you like grew up with. So thinking of the chupacabra or like a Wendigo or Krampus, Jersey Devil. Yeah, those are cryptids. So that's different because that's like a monster that's tied to lore. And we're talking about just like stories that's just like, don't go out really late, or like people are awful. Don't trust people because don't have sex because you'll die. That is definitely a thing you should always know.
Yeah, hooks happen in those situations. Men with hook hands.
Men with hook
attack
hands.
you if you
Or
even
machetes,
think about having sex in a
masks.
car on
Don't
the
do
top
it.
of a big hill.
The
It's
makeout
called
lane.
Lover's Lane or whatever.
Don't
Yeah.
don't do
Just
that.
don't go there.
It's not full of
So-
love. It's full of murder.
Yeah.
That's what we had to say about that. Specifically, so my little event earlier with my terrible phone call that was totally improvised and not planned is based on one of the urban legends that we're all really familiar with, and that's when a stranger calls. And so there's been several movies that have been made after that, and also just several kind of tales that have spurned from it. And it's just this tale of a girl that's babysitting children, and she's just like doing her homework, and she starts getting these like harassing phone calls from like just a breathy voice that really doesn't have any point to be here.
Yeah, breathing is really scary. Just like if you're just
It's like you're
So
wasting
that.
my minutes. This is 1996. And then so and it's always like the parents were like the kids are asleep, so you don't really have to do it, and she's like doing her homework. She's not being bad. She doesn't have boys over usually. This is like one of the good girls, which is like, why does this happen? We followed all the rules. But she does get these phone calls, and then after like a few of these phone calls, she gets the last one that says like, have you checked on the children? And then she's like, I haven't because I was told not to. And then she goes upstairs, and they're like missing or dead. And then, she calls the police, and she's like, I'm getting these harassing phone calls. The children are missing. And they're like, we're going to trace the call if they call again. And then they do. And then it's that whole, the call is coming from inside the house, which is terrifying. The fun fact about this story is that it's based on true stories, surprisingly enough. So there were real babysitters murdered. Sad. Yeah. In Missouri, which is,
No, but it's actually sad. I'm sorry.
it is sad. I don't know much
Murder
about Missouri.
is sad.
But babysitters get murdered there, so don't go there. But specifically, there was a babysitter named Janet Chrisman who was murdered while babysitting kids, and then another girl in her neighborhood. There was just like the spurn of murderous people who just were targeted in these young women, and kind of so it started as one of those tales where it was this cautionary, you don't go and watch someone else's child, because that's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot
That's
to
someone's
take on
life.
to. It's like a lot of life.
If they
That's
die,
not
that's your
yours.
fault. That's what babysitting is. Welcome.
You're
So,
all
yeah.
quick buck, but really that's a life in your hands. So learn a lesson, okay? And sadly, Janet learned the hard way.
Yeah.
And so it definitely started as this kind of tale that was like, oh, did you hear about the girl who was babysitting and then she was murdered? And then this whole other tale came from it, and adapted, and then another girl was murdered. And that's kind of how serial killers work. It always is a tale where it's just don't go to Lover's Lane, don't babysit, don't enjoy your life because men don't get sex, so then they want to murder you. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's
so
history. So
that's urban legends. But basically, usually, what I've noticed is that it's always something that's supposed to prevent you from wanting to do something that maybe you shouldn't be doing, but honestly, you probably are fine doing. But people have a lot of opinions about it. So specifically with the hook hand is that a mental patient has escaped, and you hear it on the radio, but you're doing something you shouldn't be doing because you're out with whoever you're with in a car out in the middle of nowhere.
you know what you're doing.
And
you shouldn't be
there's
doing
the
that.
option that sex might
It's
happen.
bad.
So
Don't enjoy yourself.
Clearly,
Don't.
once
It's
the
a
radio
tale.
turns on and it's an escaped mental patient is near your area, that's stressful. You should
what
all
is my
stop
luck?
any sexual activity that is happening and just go home.
Any doubts that you had going into this is solidified when you're there's an escaped mental patient or serial killer on the loose, and you're Johnny, I don't know if we should have sex. Also,
It's a really
one because
important time.
it's my virtue, and my mom said don't give it away. But also, we could get murdered.
Yeah, that's an option now.
That's
The
always
radio
a thing
said.
that could happen.
So I think it's
Think
more
about
so
it. Think about it.
they all
That's
end
all I'm
up
saying.
tying into this sort of moral dilemma of should you be doing this thing, and we're going to introduce something super scary to make you feel oh my god, I should not do this thing.
Mm-hmm. But
And,
first, I do
yeah.
want to say we have some
Pixie
sticks.
If anyone would like some pixie sticks,
Please
just
come partake.
yeah, someone that we have
the pixie
put in the audience, please
sticks.
dispense
Here I am, a
pixie
stranger
sticks
giving
to everybody.
you candy. Take it. It's Halloween in July. Oh yes.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah, there's more. So if anyone,
We don't have editing to prevent spoilers, so don't spoil it, Marty.
unless you
Thanks.
like watch movies.
So
Lots of props. I don't know. Is that what you're supposed to do? Is that props? 'Cause
all I'm saying is
we're doing it.
I need to witness one person eat one of the pixie sticks.
No pressure.
No pressure, but like you need to.
But we have several people who are eating.
All right,
Pixie
that's the one that was
sticks 'cause
filled
they
with
trust
cyanide.
us. Gotcha. This is a fun game.
You're gonna die.
It's a fun game.
Oh,
But also, true story.
sad.
Now we're gonna
Actually, a
sound.
serious time. There was actually children who were murdered by candy filled with cyanide, or
I'm sorry to bring
you
it
know,
down.
Yeah, bring it back to reality. Essentially,
Kids die a lot, I'm
Candyman
sorry.
dilemma, or like urban legend fear, candy in general, Halloween, is that you're trusting a ton of strangers with the safety of your children. You're just sending them out. They're giving you
And they're like,
strange
"Give me a
candy that
thing
you
and
did
I'm
not
gonna eat
buy.
it."
Yeah, you didn't buy that
Give
candy.
me
That's
the thing,
stranger
strange
candy.
person.
And then
put it in my
it's
mouth.
stranger candy, and you're gonna let your kid eat that, and it's gonna be totally fine. So there's this big fear about trusting a ton of people in your neighborhood who you might not know, and who are giving your children things that they are going to consume and eat and be in their bodies, and then the possibility that that could kill them. And I think there's been a long-lasting fear between like the razor blade
blades.
thing,
We
where
can
they
do
thought that
words.
was going to be in the candy, or specifically in this instance, a father who had poisoned his son after taking him trick-or-treating by opening up pixie stick containers, or
The big
wrappers.
ones, the plastic ones.
yeah, and
Yeah, you
filling
can't do
them
it to
with
that. We didn't poison
cyanide,
you.
real sneaky, like stapled them back together. Because you know, you see
Which,
stapled candy, that's not
fun
weird.
enough in a not fun way was the only reason why his daughter survived was because she couldn't get the staple off.
Yeah.
Also, another fun fact is I lost my first tooth on one of those things. That's just a thing I remembered. So,
Mine was a soda can,
so.
because a child should drink soda.
Why did you bite a soda can?
I didn't. Just the thing that happened. That was an impromptu story.
Okay, well.
But yeah, so essentially this is a true
little
thing
weird,
where a man in Pasadena, I think they went trick-or-treating in Pasadena, he tried to play it off like some stranger had poisoned his child. Meanwhile, he was the one doing it, and they found that out like as they
like
kept
really
going with
quick
it.
because then the kid died and he was like, oh my god, like something happened, like they were trick-or-treating earlier, my son Timmy, like already we're off to a rough start.
I do want to
Child's
say
name is
that all
Timmy.
Timmys die.
That's all the time.
It's a
all the
movie
time.
thing. If
Don't
you're
name your
watching any
child
movie that
Tim.
we've watched, Clown,
If you
Timmy
made
died.
it to a grown adult Tim level, like you know what, you get an
You've
award.
accomplished a goal. You deserve a trophy.
Yeah, so so the kid, I'm sad. We're sad.
Real
he
thing.
did die.
Real
he
thing
did
that
die,
happened.
and it was real. But it was like he was like, "Oh my god!" And I'll like totally cooperate with the police. And then the police were like, "Hey, can we ask you just like one like really quick question? Why did you take a life insurance policy out on your children like 2 days before Halloween?" Yeah.
What
And
I
he's
gotta
like, "Why?
You know
Did
what?
people not do that? Like, what are
These
you talking
people
about?
are
I'm
not
sad.
strategic enough. If you're going to take a life insurance
Like, do it, like,
policy
a
out,
year
do that like
before,
a
like
few
the
years
long con.
before. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
You do it 2 days before. It's just
Sloppy.
like,
Sloppy.
yeah, you want fingers pointed at you now. That was
Yeah.
like the most rushed.
And then he's like, "Why
murder
are you guys
plot
looking
ever.
at me weird?" And then we're like, "You're arrested." And then we also reactivated like
just in jail
what is it when we kill people?
What?
Like legally? Was it?
Oh.
Death sentence, legal killing. We reenacted that or reestablished it for this man specifically in that state because he was just like, "We're gonna give you life," and then they're like, "Psych, like you're messed up, so we want to murder you because you murdered." And so he got the life sentence, and he denied it the entire time, as you know, murderers do, like Ted Bundy. And
Just throwing names out there.
I'm a murder buff. I love it. In like not a love way. Like murder's bad. Don't do it. But I know a lot about it.
Yeah.
But he did. Yeah, he denied it right up until his death legally. So, but that's like a tale that we kind of all grew up hearing, right? Like we all, like your parents would check your candy, you know. Like I remember, like my mother, like doing that, and also being like, "You don't like this candy," and then eating it because She wanted it. But also, like,
My mom just wanted my candy.
Yeah, no.
She
but it
didn't
was
want
like
to check it. She just wanted to eat it. So I didn't have it.
But I don't know what it is about this thing. It's kind of like that same story of, like, you know, be weary of, like, drug dealers in, like, high school. Like, no one's giving out free drugs. And also, like, no one's, like, just putting razor blades. Like, that's a lot of work. But I will say, as far as, like, random killings go, I can see how this, like, was spurred, given, like, the aspirin. I believe it was in Chicago, but don't quote me on that. But it was like there was cyanide in these aspirin, and that's why we now have like the seals on them. And so a few people died from that. So random people do like to just kill random people. But Halloween is dead now because of people don't trust candy anymore. Don't trust strangers, which is like the whole thing. Like, you know, you're told don't take candy from strangers, and we're like, here's a whole day where you do that.
Like, that's the whole thing you
like
do.
You're allowed.
We literally
this is the one day you're
lead
allowed.
you as parents
Yeah.
door to door to take candy from strangers on purpose.
Yeah.
But, like, if it's in a car, don't do that. If it's in a house,
sometimes
it's
they
totally
give you,
fine.
like, apples, and you're like, Miss Jean, what are you doing? Children don't like apples.
I have received toothpaste on Halloween. I
Toothpaste?
remember that. Yeah. I don't think they were even a dentist. I think they were just...
They're just really,
I think
like,
they just really wanted
concerned
me to be
about your
healthy.
dental health, and maybe you should take a hint. So it's like a child. Toothpaste?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
know, Gabe, you were talking about earlier is how Halloween doesn't exist so much anymore in the way that we knew it, is that usually there's trunk or treats, or it's like an organized grouping of families who all know each other, so they're not strangers.
Or like a church.
Yeah,
or
like
school.
a school who bring all their cars together and put a bunch of candy in their cars. So going back to the whole don't take stranger candy from cars, we're going to put all the candy in the
like
cars.
a big white van, and now
yeah,
we do that.
we're going to put them all there. You're going to walk around
Again,
in your
this
costumes.
is the one rule that we're allowed to surpass on
Yeah, it's
Halloween.
one day of the year.
All rules are
It's like
off.
the Purge, but with candy.
It's like
It's not at all, but I like the sentence, so I said it. Yeah.
it's not in like the leaf.
It's one day a year where you're allowed to do something you're not supposed to do otherwise. That's
Yeah.
what the Purge was kind of, but with a lot of murder. In this case, there's also murder,
There is
so
lots
it's
of murder,
similar.
hypothetically.
It had a statement. There was a reason.
There's the potential for murder,
Yeah.
always.
So, but yeah, that's an urban legend. Fun fact. Did you know?
And so this man, back to this murderous father of poor Timmy, poorly named and poorly like his life, Timmy, he was deemed or named Candyman in prison, which is like super rude to children and just like people in general. But that kind of like made us remember one of our favorite and most impactful like horror villains, which is the Candyman, who's just like all the urban legends you can think of just like in one person. And then also it's like racism and like, you know, these like fears in our society that are just encompassed in this one being that's like, I'm Bloody Mary, so like don't say my name this many times. And also like bees.
And hooks.
You know, and hooks.
Like all the fears that you could have are all together in this one. Demon Man? Is it I don't know.
Just a man in a
All I'm saying is
raincoat.
they just took all the urban legends and grouped them together, and that is what Candyman is. And it's very terrifying.
And that's like 3, so we're gonna cap it because I believe
we
it's
would like
4,
someone to go into
so
the bathroom
no one's
here
allowed
and
to
say
the
that
words
5
anymore.
times.
Because I
Who
don't
is
like to tempt
volunteering?
fate. I don't like to
No,
tempt
someone
fate.
needs to go in there and do it.
You know what? We did have you guys eat candy, and then a stranger called me. So you know.
Yeah, we're halfway there.
Yeah.
But yeah. I would like to ask, though, if anyone in the audience has heard a very scary urban legend in their life that has haunted their existence
like-
and makes them just
yeah,
scared to, like, do
please.
stuff.
Yeah. Anything that like you grew up and your parents were like, did you hear about this kid? Yes.
Do you know about La Llorona,
No. Please
the
tell.
the weeping woman?
Ooh.
She would roam the streets weeping, looking for her child that she lost.
And then, well, what happens when she finds a different
It's really
kid?
sad, but, like,
I don't think she ever finds the kid.
what happens
Well,
if,
why is she
what happens if
scary?
you find them? Like the lady. Like, the
Yeah.
lady is crying in front of you asking about her kid. Does she steal your kid? Like, thinking it's
you
her
I
the
have
kid?
no
Were-
idea. I'm just
Were
telling
you the kid?
What's
And
that?
were you the kid, and are you like looking for your mom now? And like she's like always crying, and you're like, Mom, don't be so melodramatic.
No, I just heard this growing up.
Oh,
That's really cool.
Well,
Where
that's
was
good.
that at?
Thank you. And what's
Where
your
is
name?
it from?
Victor.
Yes, and this is Victor of Film Loop, correct?
That's correct.
Yes. So thank you. Awesome.
Famous people are here.
Yes. Step right
Yeah,
up.
please,
Come
Marty.
on up,
Come on
Marty.
up. Say words.
This is Marty. He's a
To the
friend of ours, and
microphone,
definitely not a
specifically.
plant in the audience. I promise.
I think for like a lot of like white suburban moms, most urban legends revolve around like gang initiation rituals.
That's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
Like, you ever heard like, if don't flash your headlights
Yes.
at a car that's
Yes.
got its headlights coming
They're
towards
off.
you without. Yeah, don't do that, because then like that car could be another like a gang member, and their initiation rite is to like get someone to flash the lights and then run them off the road and kill them or something
Yeah.
like that. A lot of stuff like
Yeah.
that.
You're just asking for
Racist
it.
stuff, really.
Yeah, don't help is really the moral of that story. Is don't
Yeah.
help. They're driving in the dark, and that's their own prerogative. So let it be. Thank you, Marty.
Yeah, we'll actually
Thanks.
end up talking about that one specifically because there's a movie that we will
Yes.
branch into. It's called Urban Legends,
Yeah.
ironically enough.
If you haven't seen it,
and-
that's okay.
Yeah, but
We
it
watched
talks
it
about
for
that
you.
one and many other ones that we
Yeah.
kind of touched upon.
Do we have any more urban legends? Things that people heard over at summer camp from Becky or something? Or like your mom was like, don't do this thing because you're in trouble. And there's seats in the carts. Come be our friends. Come on in. Come on
Pretend you're driving.
in. Come to our living room.
Don't
It's
flash
big.
the
It's a
headlights.
big living room.
I don't think
it's
they actually have
robust.
headlights, but like, don't do that because that was a thing that we.
Yeah,
learned
don't
was a
flash
thing.
it. We just told you about it. Just let
Yeah.
it be.
I have an urban legend. I don't know if
Yes.
it's really an urban legend, but like my
We'll tell
grandma
you.
is like super old school.
Yeah.
And if you were to like use a broom and like be like sweeping, and if you like swept her feet, she would think that she had like 10 years of like bad luck. And
Yes.
was, like the devil.
Yes.
It's probably
That's-
like a Pentecostal like religion shit.
That's
but,
an old
like,
wives'
yeah.
tale. And that was Ariel, who's also not a plant in the audience. That's an old wives' tale. So like there are some that my family believes in. Like if you buy a lover of yours a pair of shoes, that you're supposed to put a penny in the sole, because otherwise those are the
Really
shoes they're gonna walk
specific.
out on you in. So now you know. So don't buy people's shoes because it's mean.
Emotions.
Yeah.
Don't leave
That's not
pennies in
something
all
that
the
they
shoes.
need.
I'm putting
Don't leave
pennies
me.
in all of your shoes.
You didn't buy them for me.
I don't
I'm like
care.
I'm
It's just
self-sufficient.
happening.
I buy my own shoes.
We have one more.
Yes.
I don't know if it's an urban legend or not, but the whole
Shoot.
it's the girls' slumber party thing, light as a feather, stiff as a
Stiff as a
board.
board?
Is
Oh,
that real
yeah.
or is that an urban legend?
Yes. So, yeah. So,
haven't
it's
tested
funny
it.
enough. We just had an episode where we talked about women in horror films, and we reviewed The Craft, which is about like women doing like witchcraft, The Craft.
From my childhood.
And they do light as feather, stiff as a board. And we did we haven't done it because there's just two of us, and you need at least 3 or 4.
We need more friends
we need
to do that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need like the whole. We got a tribe. But I mean, people were like, "This is a logical thing that can happen. Is that you if there's 4 people lifting up one person with like their fingers, like logically that's okay, and it's real.
So
Yeah.
it really works.
So levitate, not to the degree that she was doing it, where she was just like hovering.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
But if
Rochelle
like your
was like,
fingers are
"I'm
still
free."
there, you're probably able to like
Yeah,
hold
you're
that
just like
person up.
everyone's really strong and you didn't know. So now that's some strength for you guys.
Cool.
We're taking.
All right,
Like,
thank
I
you.
hope you guys are writing
Yeah,
this
thanks.
down. So like, don't take candy from strangers.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't have sex.
help.
Just don't have sex ever.
or you will
Just
die.
don't do it.
Don't help. Don't name your children Tim. Timothy.
That's just our personal one. Like
That's
through
also just like
experience.
don't do that. There's one that like came up when we were watching a film that we're gonna reference in a little bit, but it kind of like has morphed from like so bad at microphones. Sorry, you wouldn't think that I like work in the media industry. There's like 2 different tales that I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's the one where it's like the girl comes in late. And she's like in college, and so she has this roommate who's sexually promiscuous. Again, don't have sex, you'll die. And so she doesn't turn on the lights because she's hearing something, but she's like, I don't want to disturb my roommate, whatever. We only have so much space in this room, so I don't want to like impede on her sexual freedom. And so she doesn't like wake up. And then in the morning when she wakes up, despite having heard
All the, like,
struggling
struggle
sounds
noises,
or
yeah.
moans and all kinds of noises that are questionable. When she wakes up, there's like blood written words that says like, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the lights?" Which is just like there was a killer there. Yeah, scary.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and the one that gets me every single like I remember the "Are you scared of the dark" or whatever
Oh,
they
yeah.
were. The one that like really messed with me, which is still why I do not put my feet or hands anywhere near over the edge of the bed. Is
Under the
that
covers is the
there
only
was this whole
safe place.
story about how like the girl was in her house and she was like just going about her night, and her dog used to like to sleep under her bed, and she would put her hand underneath the bed and the dog would lick her hand to be like, oh, good night, like we love each other, pet human relationships. And then so then there ended up being that like she just went about that, and then she kept doing that, and the next day she found like her note, and then her dog was like super murdered.
Yeah, and the note says
like not the regular amount of murder, just like super
like
murdered,
super
probably
murdered,
gruesomely
hella
left in her
murdered,
bathtub or
one
something.
might even say.
And the note said
Humans can lick too.
And
Right? Right? Yeah, everyone's freaked out.
there's multiple
Accurate.
layers of fear for me. 1, saliva, just gross.
2, your
2,
dog.
humans are licking your hands. That's not okay. 3, my dog is now dead.
Also, like, why?
Also, why is he just licking
Just,
me?
like,
Why
kill
didn't he
me.
just kill me?
Like, just kill me. What are we
if
doing?
I'm picking my list of things I'd prefer to
Like,
happen.
stop being such a tease and just, like, kill me. Like, I mean,
Don't
if
just
we're
lick
doing
my
that-
hand. If you're gonna kill me, just
Yeah,
do
just,
it.
like, straight. Just go full on.
But yeah, so that's one that always messed with me, and I think it goes along the same
Yeah.
end that like don't turn on the lights or like humans
Yeah,
can
it's like
too,
not investigating.
is that you're not paying enough attention to your surroundings, that there are people there that you aren't expecting to be there, and they're definitely going to do something messed up to your life.
Yeah,
So
so
like
it's
check the shower curtain, that's another one.
oh.
Check under your bed. And
Check the back seat.
Back seat, yep.
Yeah. You guys didn't think about it.
Just
But
be
yeah.
on edge all the time.
Yeah, just like
Have anxiety.
Honestly, odds are there is a killer somewhere
Yeah, everywhere.
in this room.
Yeah, who is it?
Statistically,
It's probably me.
I'm not gonna call it out, but yeah, it's probably
No, it's
Kat.
probably me.
Uh,
It's okay.
but I'm her friend, so I'm safe. Here's
Only some
fun
of you
facts.
are safe.
So Snopes had some things to say about Snopes.com. You know, you go there when you're like, fake news, and you're like, is it though? And it's super helpful, so go there. But they had some stuff to say about this specific lore, which is like tangled in, like the roommate not looking, and like also not looking because you just kind of trust that your dog is there, because dogs are great and they love you and they want to protect you, and shouldn't be hurt at all. So if there's a serial killer in this room, just know, just like dogs are off limits. People, fine, whatever.
Go ahead.
Dogs off limits.
Also, cats. Don't murder cats.
Yeah.
That's just a personal preference. Some people don't agree.
We
but
might feel very strongly about
Yeah.
cats, and you might see that
But
from
continue.
our shirts. So it's just kind of this idea of like not investigating. So we were saying before, like, don't help with like the flashing of the lights, but it's also just like kind of being comfortable and not being on edge. And I guess the moral of the story is like, don't always be on edge. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's
always
the
be
big thing.
expecting the worst of people. Like they're gonna poison your children. They're in gangs.
They're gonna murder you.
They're
They're
pretending
gonna
to
murder
be
you in like a real
dogs.
messed up way though, where like you think you're fine, and then like you gradually
What
find
happened
out
to
that
just like
you're not
nice,
fine.
clean murder? You
Yeah,
know,
just like you see the person's face because you saw it, you're gone now. It's not sneaky and like psychologically
why can't we
stressful.
just have sex? I didn't learn about it. Why do we have to die
In a
from
perfect
it?
world, everyone could just do that. It'd be fine. No one would get killed.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So
we actually
can't
hit
make
the
this
amount
thing
of time.
happen.
Okay,
So,
I'll do that.
like I said before, we talk facts, films, and feelings. So that was our facts spoof, more or less.
All right, listen to the thing that I made.
Films. Yeah, films. Yeah, films. We watched some films. Now let's talk about those films. And all that spooky stuff. And all that spooky stuff.
So we also talk about film. So we like to thanks. That was all.
I
Kat.
made that with my stuff.
I just help with my voice and being like pumped whenever she makes things. So Kat does our intro music, which if you were here in the beginning, you heard that
just me
awesome
moaning.
song. It's just her being like
Yeah.
really emotional about horror stuff. And then we have like our new interludes, which are like in the new, I think, the latest 2 episodes. So you can hear those, which are a lot better than us just like kind of screaming and talking about whatever film we were watching, because we're film talkers. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
You don't
definitely
wanna
watch
movies
films with us,
We talk the entire
but
time.
only if you're prepared for like constant commentary and like but it's in like a fun way, like because we're fun, clearly.
We're very funny.
So
Everyone say we're fun.
yeah. Yeah? Okay, cool.
As long as we're all in agreement.
We always watch either 1 or 2, sometimes 3 if, they didn't suffice, films that kind of relate to our topic to kind of really drive these thoughts home. So we watched 2 films, actually, and we generally we love horror, so we watch a lot of films, and so we reference a lot of stuff.
We actually don't watch any other movies anymore, and I can't tell if I'm sad or happy about that. But it's you want to watch a movie, and it's I know
will
it's
say
going
we're
to be
probably
related to
different.
the podcast, and it's going to be scary the entire time.
Yeah, we're a little different now. So
Yeah.
if you knew us before, we're this. So we watched a documentary called Killer Legends, which is from the creators of Cropsy, which you can watch both of these on Netflix. We're not sponsored by them, but whatever.
Just saying stuff.
Just do it, I guess. But Cropsy is a documentary that is specifically related to a urban legend related to Staten Island, or as this horrible YouTube video we watched was Staten Island. We were like, what are you doing?
The GPS
Do
said it
not
was
know
Staten
stuff.
Island,
Yeah,
so it's
do you
real.
not know stuff? But the Staten Island kind of this escaped. He wasn't even a mental patient. He worked at this closed down mental facility, and then these children who had mental disabilities had gone missing, and so they kind of tied it to him, and they were because he's youthful and he's an easy victim. But it's a really compelling documentary. But they made a new one that was Killer Legends, where we got some of our information about the Candyman, the dad who killed his child. It talked about when a stranger calls. It addressed quite a few different ones. It talks about clowns, which is a big thing. That was our first episode was clowns. Maybe listen to it, but just know that it was again our first episode.
And
so
it was
it's
pretty
real rough.
scattered and bad.
So we had no
We
idea
did get
what
our
we were doing.
catchphrase from it, which we will say at the end. You don't get to hear it yet.
We also have stickers. So everyone, we got
They
our
say that
stickers.
catchphrase
Cookies. We also
on
have
it.
Ghoul Scout cookies. So we like puns.
One of the foods is filled with poison, though. I just want that to be said.
Take a chance. We're all doing it every day. So they talked about clowns, which I kind of got excited about because Chicago just has this torrid history about clowns. So going from there's this train crash from when we used to have carnivals and circuses, real ones, and there was this massive horrible train crash where a bunch of performers died and a bunch of them were unnamed, and there's just this massive grave. And then after that you also have John Wayne Gacy. So if there's any true crime fans out there like myself, you know all about John Wayne Gacy and how absolutely terrible and just disgusting of a human being he is. But he was a clown. It's also unrelated to his killings. He didn't dress up as a clown to get kids. He did it other ways. And I'll totally fill you in if you're wondering. But he dressed up as Pogo the Clown. And so in our first episode, we do talk about how clowns kind of grew into being scary from being entertaining. And so they kind of touch on that as well. And then there was
still say how were they ever not scared? Why were they? I don't know. I'm sure lots of people do like clowns, but
yeah,
they're still pretty scary to look at. That's all
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know anyone who still likes clowns.
But there's people that exist. I mean, otherwise there wouldn't be that clown movie on
Clowns.
Netflix.
Yeah. So if you know a clown, we
Just
definitely
dads
like to
trying
talk
to be
to
good
them.
dads. Getting their
We
kids
would.
clowns.
So just let them know because we'd love to interview them. Just be why,
But in a respectful
what's this-
way.
like,
I
yeah,
just
yeah, just,
genuinely want to know.
because we don't get it. And we're always willing to learn. And so they talked about clowns. They talked about a bunch of things. And the people who are doing it is Rachel Mills, Joshua Zeman, and Stephen Winnick. I don't know, their names seem important.
Yeah.
So we should talk about it.
I don't know. I think the biggest thing too is that it's most of the urban legends that I've noticed are through people who are under that 18, they're kids. The fear is around the kids, that they are very scared that the innocence is going to be lost with their children, or that the person in charge of watching their children is going to be murdered by someone who's an adult and is no longer innocent. That the whole element of is that innocence is the thing that's threatened, and that you have to preserve it or you don't. And the urban legend is that these are the things that will keep you from ruining the innocence.
Yeah.
Look at the time that the one person decided to ruin the innocence. It was awful. They died. Bad things happened. Don't do that thing, and your innocence will be fine.
Yeah, don't have sex.
Yeah.
But, again,
We're going to say it a lot of times, just so it's
we really want you guys to get it.
Yeah.
So, abstinence is key. I don't care if you're married.
They'll eat your kids.
Yes.
Or poison them with
Marriage is
cyanide. It's just you can't win.
It's a whole thing.
Love is a lie.
but what I find important about urban legends is like, as opposed to like scary stories. So you all have heard like the scariest stories, and you have like the one with like the girl with a ribbon and like her head was like off the whole time or something. Everyone's like, that's the scariest story I've ever heard. I was like, you should get out more. But like with those, like with the scary stories that you hear and the things that go bump in the night, but those things are like so fake and like silly in a way, whereas urban legends, as crazy as they get, like, you know, the dog licking you and like humans can lick too, everyone can kind of cringe at that because it's like that could really happen. And odds are, like, in some degree, urban legends have happened. Like, they stemmed from a real concern or events that took place, and now we're like, but bigger, you know? So it's just like, yeah, one guy wanted to kill his kid, but then also, like, potentially put his friends at risk, like his child's friends at risk as well, who just, like, didn't ingest the whole thing, so they were okay, or they didn't, like, get to it. Like, again, they couldn't get the staple up. But it's like that little kind of story now has, like, curtailed into this big lesson for all of us to be like, don't take candy from strangers. So I think it's kind of a really interesting take in it, is that it's not just like tales you tell at night, it's like tales you tell to stay alive.
Yeah, they're like real life stuff.
Even though they're crazy.
And I mean, I think that's a natural lead into the actual film Urban Legends, because
Yes.
the whole point is that the killer is trying to reenact every single one of those urban legends that their professor in college had talked about because of the death of
Yeah.
So
the death
spoilers.
Of her, yeah. Spoilers. We always just say spoiler, and then we just say the
I usually say
spoiler.
the thing first, say spoilers after, and then
Also,
hope
like,
everyone
this film
forgives
is
me.
from 1998 and is like super low budge. So again, if you haven't seen it, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, we watched it for you.
But yeah, essentially, like, the whole thing is that her boyfriend was killed by like this,
Fiancé.
or fiance, I'm sorry,
important.
by this urban legend thing where, like, the flashing of the headlights. And her revenge is to murder this other girl who's like
Like
kind of
a
responsible
lot.
for it, is the passenger in the car that it happened. That she is going to murder everybody that person knows now, and frame it around the professor who was the teacher of all the urban legends. So you get to see all the things that we've talked about, but like some other ones that like I didn't even know were a thing, brutally and graphically happen, with you know, Achilles' heels being slit, and
Super
you know,
graphic.
a lot of old people
Super
getting
fun.
murdered, which was upsetting to me. I just don't like it when old people die. Young people, but like old people, like it's
Yeah.
like
Like they've been having
just
sex
let
for
them
a long time.
just let them be grandpas and grandmas and do their thing. They're nice, unless they're trying to like stick you in an oven. But like other than that.
Classic
So
old
that
person.
film really, it got into every one that I could think of in terms of check your back seat. That's where it started. They're
Yeah,
driving,
that's like the
and the
first
girl
scene.
did not check the back seat, and this guy who has a stutter, he's like trying to warn her that there is someone in her car that she clearly does not know
fair,
about.
he is super creepy. Like,
Yes.
he definitely isn't helping himself in trying to save her. Like, he starts out like hella creepy. So it's like, at the very least, just like be normal if you're gonna warn someone that there's a killer in your backseat.
I think just like as women, it's just like someone weird is trying to get you to exit their
Or
your
just a
car
person's
and
talking
enter
to you.
their like place
Scary.
where you don't know it, you don't know that person, and then they're also not saying what's wrong. He was
Yeah.
trying to help ultimately.
He was
and-
trying to say he had a stutter. So
Yeah, but then
whole
so check
thing.
your back seat. That was the first one you see, and then how that kind of transitioned into just back to back to back to back.
yeah.
Murder
Well, let me tell you
through
about
these urban legends.
this film. There's a
Yeah,
little.
do it.
So urban legends. Here's a. According to IMDb or Wikipedia, wherever I got this, a university is beset by a rash of gruesome murders that resemble old urban legends, like we were talking about. When her friend Michelle is killed by someone hiding in her car, Natalie begins to notice the pattern. Her suspicions grow stronger when her roommate is strangled to death. Soon the quiet college campus... It was super stressful when it happened. Soon the quiet college campus is transformed into hunting grounds for a maniac, and Natalie struggles to find the killer and stop the bloodshed before she becomes the next victim. So that's what
Spoilers,
happens.
she doesn't die.
She doesn't, because she's the our final lady, which you can learn more if you tune into episode 21, because we went to the future 2 days ago.
And then came back.
Some fun things about this film. So it features Jared Leto, who, although his current track record isn't super great, was definitely the heartthrob of Gabe's youth and would watch anything as horrible as Urban Legend is just to see his beautiful face. We also have Tara Reid of the 90s, and she does this wonderful Urban Legend, which I remember from my youth, which was, I'm totally forgetting the song right now, and if anyone knows it, remind me, but there's a song where there's a scream on the track, and there's an Urban Legend that's tied to it. It's a super groovy yes.
If you know it, come say.
Do you know? Yes! Roller coaster of love. Yes! You got it! 10 points you. What house are you in? I'm just going to say Slytherin, so 10 points Slytherin. That's my house. So, Roller Coaster of Love, it starts out with a lovely, lovely scream. And the urban legend was that that was an actual murder scream, and that they just put it on this, like, lovely, fun song. And so, like, she's at this party, Tara Reid's character, who's this, like, I guess, like, she's just a radio host who talks about sex, which you shouldn't be doing, and, like, how to do it right, and she's like, consent, and, like, we don't kink shame. She's wonderful for her time, honestly. But she's at this party, and this creep is like, oh, you hear that scream in the song? Like, this is because it's an urban legend, and she was murdered, and she's like, whatever. And then she's, like, running, and for some reason, she's in the radio studio, and, like, she's being recorded, even though she's running through the entire building. I don't like, she may have like a lavalier or something, or like a stalker, and she's like screaming, and it's like on her show, but it happens to be at like Halloween, so everyone's like, oh,
she's
it's
just
just
doing
a
a really
part
great,
of the thing, and then she's
reenactment.
like getting savagely murdered, and everyone's like, oh, she's so cool and meta, like, wow, like, don't murder us for it to be meta. We don't want to be that cool. We want to keep living until like we're old, and then people are like, wow, they're so tired. We want that.
Yeah, I'm already there, but yeah.
We're always
I'm just young and tired.
But yeah, so there's like really fun in that they're just like over the top urban legend like murder scenes, and then you're like, I didn't even know that was a murder, but I remember hearing one that was like, there's like a scream on a thing, and it's because like the model had to like pour hot honey on her, and then her skin got attached to like the cellophane, and then like had to rip her skin. I don't know. The internet was a dark time in the early 2000s. They just put whatever they wanted on it, and you just listened to it or watched it as like a youth because there was no rules. So that was a whole thing that I remember from that story. And so it super triggered me where I was like, oh, yeah. But, I mean, you definitely don't have to watch it because it's from 98, and it's, like, really kind of silly.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I watched the whole thing.
Oh, it
I was
also
like,
has,
that was okay.
what's his name?
I don't know.
Dang it.
There was a
famous
person in the
90s.
movie. Did you know? It's probably
Joshua
famous.
Jackson. Joshua Jackson is in it, and he does like really. He also has like bleached hair, and it's like, what are you doing, Josh? And he's like, it's the 90s, and you're like, okay, that's fine.
He's saying that to us now. Yeah, it's like you didn't know it was the 90s during that current moment.
And then like, where am I now? We don't know. So, that was our film section. So we have another lovely interlude for you, and then we're like wrapping it up. So if you
we're gonna talk forever in your forced.
Feelings. Yeah, feelings. Yeah, feelings. Yeah, I said feelings. Let's talk about feelings, okay? And all that spooky stuff. I love spooky stuff.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about feelings, okay? Yeah, I know, they suck, right? So generally,
Everything hurts. We're always dying. What?
So usually we end our segments with this is a positive thing, and this is a negative thing, and like overall the topic, and then the films we watch. So we have like something that relates to a positive feeling, and then something that's negative.
In relation to urban legends.
So I would say if we don't like it, it's Humans Can Lick Too, because it's the worst thing I've ever heard. And then if you like it, it's like,
I don't want to.
What's a good thing?
We're taking requests.
Yeah. Does anyone
have a positive thing involving urban legends that we can use as a positive rating? If not, that's fine. We'll just have to use our
We'll
brains.
figure it
but,
out.
like,
We'll do this all on our
if
own
you do,
usually, because
cool.
you guys aren't there, and it's like, why?
It's just
I don't know. we'll just do like, I guess, Tara Reid as like a positive, just because her sex positive like radio show was great. So we're gonna let her have one positive thing that isn't Sharknado. So, so if you like it, Kat, we're gonna talk about just like the topic of urban legends. It's Tara Reid's sex show, and if you hate this topic, it's humans can lick too. So go ahead.
Well, I would say Tara Reid's sex show.
Sex show. Yeah.
Show, yeah. Just because,
It was
like,
legit.
I feel like it's good to be scared sometimes about logical things. And I feel like urban legends in general are just like, hey, these are all really rational fears that you have. Like, this is a thing that happened that makes that valid.
Yeah.
So I think I like it in that way, but also it's like, humans can lick too. And just like the scariness that it's just like so real. It's like, I don't want humans to lick. Can they not do that? Can they just be over there?
No licking allowed.
Only dogs or
Some are
cats
rules.
are allowed to lick things. So
Appropriately.
if anything, it's also like trying to get you to be scared to live your life and like branch out and do things that maybe you wouldn't have done. So I think like their purpose, I'm not a big fan of. I think like people should just be able to be people and like do their stuff, and that there shouldn't just be like all these things being like, you have to conform to whatever scary times are happening because you could get murdered. It's like, we could all get murdered all the time at any time. People are bored. They just murder you. Like, that's a thing. So, like, I don't need any reason to, like, have people telling me I should be scared of something. I have a lot of real fear that's just, like, in me all the time that I don't need, like, stories for. So, in that way, humans can lick, too.
Yeah, I would say Tara Reid's sex show all the way, just because, like, I grew up in a very paranoid home, and if you listen to her podcast, you'll hear all about that. And just, like, how I'm troubled and do not need therapy, definitely not. And I'm fine, everyone.
We're all fine.
But it's kind of like I'm a true crime like fan, and so like I'm obsessively watching and listening and viewing and whatever and just ingesting, and then like I just walk outside my house and I'm like, everyone is a murderer probably, and so it's just like a life thing that I have to deal with. But for some reason I'm still here, and I'm still like, despite my severe anxieties, I'm just like, it's okay, I'll just trust people anyway. So for me it's like urban legends kind of like levels that playing field where I'm like, I'm always like hyper aware that everyone's potentially a murderer. So it's like, now you guys get to be hyper aware of that. So like, you're welcome for urban legends, and I'm gonna start making up my own now so that everyone can be on the same page. And then as far as like the films go, one, I really enjoyed Cropsy, and then I enjoyed Killer Legends because it really put things in perspective, and I love learning things. So definitely watch those if you're into documentaries and you just want to get spooked and learn about clowns. And then urban legend was just like a pivotal part of my life when I was like younger, because being a horror lover that I am, it was just one of those hokey films I enjoyed. So I mean, you could watch it, but like maybe watch it with like a bunch of friends and like maybe us, so we can make fun of it with you. We'll come over.
We need more people
free
to do the stiff as the board thing, so we need more friends.
Yes! Oh my God! Everyone, lift us.
Yeah.
You
Lift us
raise
up.
us up. Okay.
Yep.
With magic. So yeah, I'd say Tara Reid's sex show, like all the way with the topic and with these amazing films that I chose. So, you're welcome.
Everything she does is great.
Aww. Keep going. Tell us more.
But yeah.
Yeah. So for the films, and then we'll wrap up.
I thought we already did that. No? I must have.
Did you like? Just tell me if you liked.
They were fun.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So we're the Ghouls Next Door.
Yeah.
You can look us up on our website, theghouls.nextdoor.com, which is a super cool website that I work really hard on. And
I
it's like my
edited
heart and soul.
it slightly.
We have a blog.
I helped a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're at Ghouls Next Door, the Ghouls Next Door on Facebook, Ghouls Next Door on, we're Ghouls Next Store on Twitter, because some asshole, I don't know if we can swear, but
We've already sweared a bunch. It's done.
some meanie took Ghouls Next Door. It's like rude. So we're Ghoul Next
Twitter.
Door without an E on Twitter, and then the Ghouls Next Door on Instagram.
Don't get married.
Don't get married. They'll eat your kids.
Yeah.
Or poison them with pixie
Cyanide
sticks. Yeah. So don't get married. They'll eat your kids. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Woo! We did it.
Take free stuff.